Dodi livani lo haroe. Dodi livani lo haroe. Dodi livani lo haroe. Dodi livani lo haroe. Misotola min hamida. Mekuteret mor mor levona. Libatini achoti kala. Ani le dodi. וצהלה, תוך אמוני העם סגולה, בואי חלה, בואי חלה. Kindness, being kind, oh, loving kindness, living kind. Will you choose the love inside you, been put down by what we've been through? Can you imagine what we do to one another and what we say to each other? It's all compassion. So we'll fill the world
Shabbat Shalom, everyone. And I hope everyone at home can hear us and see us, and that you're staying safe from the resurgence of COVID, and of course, the freezing cold weather here in Los Angeles. I just spoke to a visitor from Vermont, and I have a feeling this is summer to you, right? So we're here for MLK Shabbat. I'm Cantor Weiss. This is our rabbinic intern, Jake.
Shabbat Shalom.
Shabbat Shalom. And we've prepared a special service really just honoring the memory of Martin Luther King Jr. And there's always, music that I want to include, but at the essence of it, I think that what MLK did and reminds us to do is to dig deeper into the possibility of who we can be. And sometimes that means being vulnerable. Sometimes that means cleansing ourselves so that we can be more open. So therefore, I sing this opening song, create a pure heart in me, great spirit, create a pure heart in me. And you can start to chant it, and let's just start to channel the goodness of MLK. We'll hear his quotes all night tonight, but let's start with this just ancient biblical text. Create a pure heart in me, great spirit. Create a pure heart in me. Create a pure heart in me, great spirit. Create a pure heart in me. Let's try that again. Create a pure heart. Create a pure heart in me, great spirit. Create a pure heart in me. Create a pure heart in me, great spirit. Create a pure heart in me, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within. Create a pure heart in me, O Spirit. Create a pure heart in me. Create a pure heart in me, great Spirit. Create a pure heart in me, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within. Page 10, as we say how good it is to be together in this beautiful space. Tovu manayim, shevet achim gam yachad. Hinei ma 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 tovu manayim, shevet achim gam
Shabbat Shalom, everyone.
Shabbos.
As Cantor Weiss said, we're here, of course, to honor Shabbat like we do every week, and also on this occasion to commemorate what our movement and lots of other progressive Jews around America are calling Shabbat Tzedek, Shabbat of Justice, in honor of the Reverend Dr. Martin Luther King Jr. It's, of course, a worthwhile point of pride for so many progressive Jewish communities here in America that actively really embraced, participated in, and helped shape the civil rights movement, including Dr. King specifically. And tonight, I think instead of us saying too much more about him, I'll talk about him a little bit later in a sermon in a Dvar Torah, but instead of saying too much more throughout the service, we wanted to hear from his words. He left such a wonderful corpus of thoughts, ideas, and charges for all of us. So throughout tonight's service, we'll hear some quotes and some excerpts from or inspired by Dr. King and some of his contemporaries. In his Nobel Prize acceptance speech in 1964, he said, "Faith can give us courage to face the uncertainties of the future. It will give our tired feet new strength as we continue our forward stride toward the city of freedom. When our days become dreary with low hovering clouds and our nights become darker than 1,000 midnights, we will know that we are living in the creative turmoil of a genuine civilization struggling to be born."
So we bring in the light of Shabbat. I'm going to surprise them, but Dorit Corwin's back in town. So Dorit, if you would come up and with her mother, President Kara Corwin, to light the candles, I would be honored. She's back from Barcelona. Yeah, I was right. Barcelona, and we're happy to have her here. Do you want to sing? Your mom says. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam asher kitshanu bemitzvotav vetzivanu lehadlik ner shel Shabbat. Welcome home. Look, I'm almost as tall as you now that I'm... Thank you, guys. We're going to continue on page 24 with Shalom Aleichem. May there be peace over all of us, angels on high, and may we all feel the holiness of Shabbat. Page 24. Shalom Aleichem, Malachei Hasharet, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Boachem leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech Malachei Hamlachim, HaKadosh Baruch Hu, Baruch Huni leShalom, Malachei HaShalom, Malachei Elyon, Melech צאתכם לשלום, מלאכי השלום, מלאכי עליון, ממלך מלכי המלכים, הקדוש ברוך הוא.
Minutes into hours, into days, into weeks. Another one is over. These building blocks of our months, of our years, of our seasons, of our eras and our movements. Who were we this week? Where were we? Why? Where are we going next week? Who can we become? We'll take a moment now of silent reflection as we review our weeks. Chazarat HaShavua.
Welcome the Sabbath Bride with Lachado D on page 20. Right, page 20.
Page 20.
Yeah. You know, if no one's ever noticed, I'll just hide a little Lizzie in here. It's very confusing because we at Temple Emmanuel always do Shalom Aleichem first, which is on page 24, and Lachado D second, which is on page 20. And every time I announce it, I confuse myself. And we were just talking about this. It makes sense.
It does.
But it just
I'm going to say that
up.
we're not the weird ones. The Siddur
It's the
is
Siddur.
weird. Yeah.
Yeah, we just switch it every
Yeah.
time. It's confusing. That being said,
Page 20.
page 20
is Lachado
for
D.
Lachado D. Nathan Heldman, our High Holiday Music Director, who's playing piano tonight. He just brings such ruach. Lachado D, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Lachado D, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Shamo v'zachor b'ribur echad, hishmi'anu el ha'miuchad. Adonai echad u'shmo echad, l'shem u'tiferet v'litila. Lachado D, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Lachado D, likrat kala, penei Shabbat, nekabela. Verse 5. Hitoreri, kiva orech kumi uri, uri uri, shir daberi, kevod Adonai, alayich nigla, lech
our Shabbat bride.
Boi v'shalom, ateret bala, gam besimcha usochola, toch emunei am segula, boi chala, boi chala.
Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela. Lecha dodi likrat kala, penei Shabbat nekabela.
We remain standing as we continue with Baruch Hu. We'll start on page 28, and this melody also continues into our prayer, Mari Varavim, a prayer that says, wow, God, look what you can do, rolling night into day and day into night. Page 28. Yai la la, yai la la la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la 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 la. Baruch Hu et Adonai Hamevorach. With me now. Baruch Adonai Hamevorach Leolam Vaed. Ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la, ya la 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 la, ya la la, ya la la la, ya la la la, ya la 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 la. Page 30. Bottom. Umavir yom umevi laila, umavdil ben yom uvein laila. Adonai tzevot shemo, El Chai v'kayam. Tamid yimloch aleinu, leolam vaed. Baruch atah Adonai Hamariv Aravim. You may be seated. Darkness cannot drive out darkness. Only light can do that.
Hate cannot drive out hate. Only love can do that.
Hate multiplies hate,
Violence multiplies violence,
and toughness multiplies toughness in a descending spiral of destruction.
the chain reaction of evil. Hate begetting hate, wars producing more wars must be broken, or we shall be plunged into the dark abyss of annihilation.
I can't think of anything that would bring more light than to invite up Basha. Basha, how old are you now? Well, yeah, come on up. 9. And the first time you sang on, you can leave your mask if that's okay with your parents. The first time you sang this was when? She was 3. When she was 3 years old, and now let's not talk about how tall she is again. When she was 3 years old, she sang this on the Bima during Shabbat Spark, and it's just this tradition that we have to sing this Love Only Love song in honor, right? You're loud because you remember how little, yeah. So this is Love Only Love, a beautiful song written by Rabbi Neil Kamas Daniels and Diane Rose. Are you ready? Yeah. We can start.
Love, only love, with all your heart. Love, only love, with all your soul.
Yeah, come on, sing it. You got this.
Listen to the wisdom inside and around you. You will remember.
As you're walking through the day, make this world a better place. Children will learn, and take my part, she's singing my part. And their future will be love. Love, only love, with all your heart. Love, only love, with all your soul. Listen to the wisdom inside and around you. You will remember. In your home and on your way.
Make your life a voice of God.
Be a sculpture for the holy. Be a doorway for love.
Love, only love, with all your heart. Love, only love, with all your soul. Listen to your wisdom inside and around you.
You will remember. You will remember. Yay. Thank you, Pastor.
Rabbi Maurice Eisendrath, who was the president of what was then the Union of American Hebrew Congregations, we now know as the Union for Reform Judaism. He was the president of our Reform movement as a contemporary at the time of the most active years of the Civil Rights Movement. And at one point he wrote, "Judaism gave mankind its first civil rights program. It was expressed in the Shema, the watchword of the Jewish faith. Hear, O Israel, the eternal our God, the eternal is one. As God is one, mankind is one, for each is created equally in the image of God." We repeat that civil rights program with the words of Shema on page 34.
Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu, Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. Shema Yisrael, Adonai Eloheinu. Adonai Echad. Baruch Shem Kavod Malchuto Leolam Vayed.
Our daily service includes the jubilant, grateful words of Micha Mocha, which we'll come to in just a moment. And yet, on some days, I can't help seeing all the pain in our world and how heavy everything is, and wondering, this is the world of liberation we're celebrating so much? For the political philosopher Michael Walzer, one of my favorite thinkers, some of his ideas, in fact, have been recorded right here in our Siddur. For Walzer, this frustration points towards meaning. He teaches that to the degree there is a Jewish politics is Exodus politics, rather than Messianic politics. And I think Martin Luther King, although of course a Christian theologian, throughout his work, throughout his ideas, there's this strain of Exodus politics running through it. What I mean by that is, our Exodus politics come from this foundational liberation story that involves not an ultimate struggle, but a long series of decisions, backslidings, and reforms, is how Walzer characterizes it. The dissatisfaction we experience along the way is part of the point, or at least it's unavoidable. Sometimes I think you could say it's messy politics instead of messianic. But it teaches us something vital, as Walzer writes, and it is recorded here in our Siddur. It teaches us about the meaning and possibility of politics and about its proper form. First, that wherever you live, it is probably Egypt. Second, that there is a better place, a world more attractive, a promised land. And third, that the way to the land is through the wilderness. There's no way to get from here to there except by joining hands together and marching. We sing our song of liberation, Micha Mocha, on page 40.
Michamocha va'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh, Nora tehilot, osefele. Let's try it again. And anybody in here who wants to sing, Esty, Rebecca, Doran. Michamocha va'elim Adonai, Michamocha nedar b'kodesh, come on, Esty. Oh, Sefele. You guys sing with Basha. And the river is wide.
And the river is wide.
And the river is deep.
And the river is deep.
And the river is standing between you and me and freedom. Freedom. But we shall overcome one day. Adonai, mi kamocha, nedar bakodesh, nora tehilot, oh sefer. And the river divides, and the river forgives, and the river's a wall, and the river's a bridge to freedom, freedom. But we shall overcome one freedom, freedom. But we shall overcome one day. Yes. We're good. That's what happens when we don't rehearse. Thank you, guys. You got the point, though.
Again, in that Nobel Prize lecture in 1964, Dr. King said, "All over the world, like a fever, the freedom movement is spreading in the widest liberation in history. The great masses of people are determined to end the exploitation of their races and land. These developments should not surprise any student of history. Oppressed people cannot remain oppressed forever. The yearning for freedom eventually manifests itself. The Bible tells the thrilling story of how Moses stood in Pharaoh's court centuries ago and cried, 'Let my people go.' This is a kind of opening chapter in a continuing story. The present struggle in the United States is a later chapter in the same unfolding story." We remember at this moment in our service not just those seeking freedom in all of the ways that we might understand it or Dr. King might have understood it, but also those seeking the freedom from the bondage or struggle of ill health, those who seek some sort of recovery of spirit, of body. So together we'll sing in a moment the words of Mi Chamocha, which are on page 253, I think.
Yes?
Yes. And we'll sing the first verse together, and then I'll pass my hand through the congregation so we can all add names, and then in our second verse sing together for all of those names that we've heard and shared.
I believe I'm going to invite up Rebecca to share her voice for this song of healing.
Mi Shebera Avotenu Mekor Abraham Leimotenu. May the source of strength, who blessed the ones before us, help us find the courage to make our lives a blessing, and let us say, Amen.
As a community, we think of Connie Bennett, Jake Broder, Jill Kahn, Megan Cavallari, Eitan Chaim, Woody Clark, Rory Hill Cohen, Cooper Wesley Cohen, Judy Fenton, Lorelei Greenberg, Andy Hale, Helene Hale, Kathleen Agnes McCarthy, David Pick, Howard Rosen, Elisa Rubin, David Silber, Lindy Sobel, Mabube Soleimani, Helena Wachtel, Freddie Wolf, Michael Wolin, Andy Wu, and Howard Zellico. Online, I'll read the names that have been submitted, and then Jake will take names for people here. Paulette Miller, Jim B., Menachem Mendel Ben Avraham Upanina, Karen Alexander, Mary Lynn Gottfried, and Louis Wiener, Brenda Salguero.
Mishebeira imotenu mekor habraham lavotenu. Bless those in need of healing with refuah shlema, the renewal of body, the renewal of spirit, and let us say, Amen.
We'll continue with our silent meditation, or our core of our service, our tefillah, and then our silent meditation. Adonai Sephatai on page 46. We rise, then take some moments of silence using the words on the page or the prayers in your heart, and then when you're done with your prayers, you may be seated. Adonai Tzvatai Tivta, Adonai Tzvatai Tivta, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha, Ufi Agid Tehilatecha. Create a pure heart in me, Great Spirit. Create a pure heart in me. Create a pure heart in me, Great Spirit. Create a pure heart in me and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within. Create a pure heart in me, Great Spirit. Create a pure heart in me. Create a pure heart in me, Great Spirit. Create a pure heart in me, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within, and renew a true soul within me, and renew a true soul within.
Shabbat shalom again, everyone. So in recent weeks, I've been watching this docu-series on HBO called 100-Foot Wave. Has anybody seen it? Some nods. I think Cantor Weiss has been watching it. So it's about big wave surfers, for whom I didn't really know anything about this world, but for big wave surfers, they're not doing what you're doing, what the guy, jumping, what most people are doing, jumping in at the beach in Santa Monica. For them, every single ride is about pushing boundaries and breaking records. And the idea of surfing a 100-foot wave has taken on this mythical status over decades among big wave surfers, and it's become this animating pursuit for the most elite extreme athletes in this field. So this series, it centers on this one spot in Portugal, which has the largest known surfable waves in the world. Here in this one spot on the coast of the Atlantic, the ocean conditions converge to make these extraordinary waves, just of incredible heights, and also forming some of those tight barrels, those characteristic tubes that the luckiest and most talented surfers shoot through. So, of course, as I was watching this, I began to think about Martin Luther King. I thought in particular about his most famous speech, I Have a Dream, from the March on Washington, and one of the lines in that speech that has become so heavily associated with him. In a section discussing his movement's goals, he asserted, "We are not satisfied and we will not be satisfied until justice rolls down like waters and righteousness like a mighty stream." This has become one of the speech's iconic, enduring lines. I imagine, who's heard this line here before? Right, lots of nods of recognition. Who hasn't? Exactly. So this language, this simile, comes right out of our book of Amos, in the book of prophets. Chapter 5, verse 24 says, "Vayigal kamay mishpat utzaka kenachal etan." Let justice roll like water and righteousness like an enduring stream, or a stream that has no end. Vayigal is from this word legalgel, which means to roll. In English, we call what waves do, when we talk about what a wave does, we call that breaking. And in Hebrew, when we talk about waves, the verb that we use to describe them is legalgel, to roll. So watching those surfers navigate these curves, it was so clear to me that the Hebrew, I think, better captures the natural flow of waves. And that's what got me thinking about what does it mean for justice and righteousness to roll on like waves? For our prophet Amos, for the biblical writers who put our Bible together, who recorded it, and for the modern prophet, Dr. King, what do waves tell us about justice? So I learned that waves start with water reacting to the environmental characteristics in fairly predictable and uniform ways. But as the water pushes towards the shore and interacts with the shallower and shallower seafloor, this predictable linear energy of the water reaches a critical moment when it begins to curve over into what's called wave turbulence energy. And what that means is that when the water crests over itself, all bets are off. The physical and molecular result is total unpredictable chaos. That chaos interacts with the wind and the air temperature and the water temperature and the tides and the underwater geology and the salinity of the seawater at that precise moment, in that precise location, to certainty, randomness, and uniqueness. No one knows what will happen when a wave crests into that molecular turbulence, but we do know that within seconds, the water will disappear into the ocean and the cycle will repeat again. When I think about the waves of justice rolling, I think about that inside of even the smallest of waves, that rush of chaos, of uncertainty, and of seeming randomness. The work of justice is not tidy. It is not predictable. It is not programmable. It is difficult and risky, and it's disruptive, it's chaotic, and it's certainly nonlinear. It is, as in the quote that opened up our service, what Dr. King called in his Nobel Prize speech, creative turmoil. When he spoke at the March on Washington and throughout his life when he spoke of ending Jim Crow and realizing that world judged not by the color of one's skin but the content of one's character, he advocated overturning a systematized, legalized bigotry that for much of our country had permeated every component of life, of business, of politics and government, of social interactions, and even of personal hopes and dreams for centuries. Ending that required chaos, and it required discomfort, it required risk, it required a violent change, not change achieved through violence, but a kind of change that radically changed the way our country understood itself. An alteration not just of outcomes, but of inputs and of processes and of our entire frameworks. In his famous letter from the Birmingham jail, Dr. King criticized the moderates who claimed to want civil rights, but objected to the civil rights movement and to their actions on the grounds of them being disruptive, or, it's against the law to sit in at this counter, so don't sit in at this counter because that's illegal. What King observed in his criticism then remains true today. The waves scare people away, even people who love the water. There are those who care about the causes of justice and righteousness, but for whom the process of achieving those things, the mess, the disruption, the discomfort, the illegibility, that keeps them out of the work, or even leads some to condemn those who are undertaking the messy work. Today, so many of our world's injustices remain so deeply entrenched. Civil rights and equal opportunity, poverty and hunger, unrestrained greed and indignity for workers, violence and war, division and hate. Addressing these urgent causes will mean much chaos, danger, and uncertainty. It will mean big waves. When it comes to justice, we should expect it to be messy and uncomfortable and full of doubt about the future. Instead of fearing the white caps and the huge splashes, we should surf. And when we're ready for that ride, we get to ask ourselves, what will be our 100-foot wave? What cause or causes will we put everything we have into? This Shabbat and this Martin Luther King Jr. Day, we are reminded that in pursuing justice, the waves of justice roll chaotically, but they roll in for all of us. Shabbat Shalom.
We begin to close our service, page 282, with Aleinu. Please rise. Aleinu l'shabeach l'adon hakol, לתת גדולה ליוצר בראשית, שהוא נוטה שמיים ויוסד הארץ, ומושב יקרו בשמיים ממעל, ושכינת עוזו בגבהי מרומים, הוא אלוהינו אין עוד. ואנחנו קוראים ומשתחווים ומודים לפני מלך מלכי המלכים הקדוש ברוך הוא, ונאמר והיה אדוני למלך על כל הארץ ביום ההוא יהיה אדוני אחד ושמו אחד. You may be seated.
On April 3rd, 1968, the night before Martin Luther King's assassination, he gave a famous speech called "I've Been to the Mountaintop." He said, "Well, I don't know what will happen now. We've got some difficult days ahead, but it doesn't matter to me now because I've been to the mountaintop, and I don't mind. Like anybody, I would like to live a long life, but I'm not concerned about that now. I just want to do God's will, and God's allowed me to go up to the mountain. I may not get there to the promised land with you, but I want you to know tonight that we, as a people, will get to the promised land. And I'm happy tonight. I'm not worried about anything. I'm not fearing any man. Mine eyes have seen the glory of the coming of the Lord." We think at this moment about Dr. King, and also we think about our own loved ones who marched to the mountaintop for us, that we might reach whatever promised land they dreamed for us.
I also just want to mention, I forgot to mention this earlier, but it's the yard site of Debbie Friedman, beloved, most popular composer that really made Jewish music accessible to women and to Reform Jews alike. And she's been gone for 11 years now, I think. Yeah.
Certainly someone on whose shoulders so many of our leaders stand.
Yeah.
So if you're here tonight observing Shloshim, the most recent 4 weeks after following the death of a loved one, I invite you to rise now and share their name. Additionally, our congregation remembers Sis Klein, Caleb Dressen, Carol Avedon, and Marhala Del Rahim. If you are here tonight to say Kaddish in memory of a yard site, the anniversary of the passing of a loved one, I invite you to rise now and share their name.
See if there's anybody else online. Hold on.
We also remember David Newman, Albert Ehrenberg, Arthur Dreschfield, Deborah Criswell, Sarah Gordon, and Goldie Miller.
In a moment, you can see the names on the screen of everyone from our community of the past who we remember tonight. Take a moment to scan through those. Also, Albert Ehrenberg, Teresa Dutch, Ralph Moskowitz.
We turn now to our mourners' Kaddish, Kaddish Yatom on page 294, and invite you to rise in solidarity with the mourners among us and to say Kaddish for those who have no one to say Kaddish for them, and for all who've lost their lives in the violence of our times.
Yitgadal v'yitkadash shemei Rabbah, be'alma divrach hirutei ve'amlich malchutei, b'chayechon uvyomechon uv'chaye dechol beit Yisrael, ba'agala uvizman kariv v'imru, amen. Yehei shmei Rabbah mevarach le'alam olamei almaya, yitbarach v'yishtabach v'yitpa'ar v'yitramam v'yitnaseh, v'yithadar v'yitaleh v'yitalal shmei dekudesha b'richu, le'ela min kol birchata v'shirata, tushvechata v'nechemata, da'amiran be'alma v'imru, amen. Yehei shlama rabba min shemaya, v'chayim aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael v'imru, amen. Oseh shalom b'mramav, hu ya'aseh shalom, aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael ve'al kol yoshvei tevel v'imru, amen. May their memories be for a blessing. You may be seated. First of all, thank you to Nathan Heldman on piano. As I just keep remembering his face because he's our high holiday director and he just can sing as well as he can play piano. I know, all of a sudden I'm like, when I'm out of town, Nathan actually should be cantor. No, I wasn't joking though. I shouldn't have said it out loud. Thank you to Spencer in the back. Thank you to Helene, who is preparing the challah right there. I think our executive director, Sarah Heiner, was here. Helene, were you greeting online too? Was that you? Okay, thank you for doing that. Thank you to our rabbinic intern, Jake Petzwald. Again, we grew up here together, and I just think it's very special. And I like to mention that because I think it gives warm and fuzzy feelings to people when you're sitting here, because I grew up at this temple and he grew up at this temple, and it's just special to be standing in the space where each of us became adults, really. So thank you, Jake. He'll be here all year. No. I have a couple of announcements, of which Spencer's going to help me. So next week we have LA Oneg. We'll have a fun wine, beer, and donut gathering at 7:30, and then the service starts at 8 p.m. So you can eat first and then come for the service. I feel like we keep pushing this a little earlier and earlier. It used to be 8:30 and 9, but I don't know, pretty soon it's going to be the same time as every other service, I guess. But yeah, please join us. Nathan plays for that service, and it's just a very beautiful, intimate service. That's next. We're going to go through the Shabbats first. So Shabbat next week, LA Oneg. And the week after is the one that I really, really want to advertise, which is Shabbat Shirah, with our intergenerational choir, our soul singers, our junior cantors, and I want to call them like our junior soul singers, because we got some young kids that joined, even younger than Esty, who's here recently. So we're really excited. All the choirs will be here. Nathan actually will be conducting. Shabbat Shirah is the Shabbat where we read about the splitting of the sea and has become the Shabbat of song. Just like how this is a justice Shabbat, that Shabbat is called the Shabbat of song, and we always try and bring in our community and do an even bigger musical experience. So please come Friday, January 26th at 6:15. I didn't hear. Okay. Something about mouth, so we'll talk about challah. So the pink challah bake, our last challah bake with our Sisterhood of Emmanuel was super successful. 50 women. It was so fun. And this time, we're partnering with Sharsheret, which is a Jewish breast cancer organization. And their work is so amazing. I've done Shabbat services for their kind of healing circle. We are going to make pink challah. Kids can come. It's at 7 p.m. It's a little bit on the late side to start making challah. But I also just want to put out a little pitch, which is that we have representatives from Sharsheret coming. But if you are here, or if you know anybody who has personal stories of dealing with anything from having breast cancer to having a relative with breast cancer, ovarian cancer, or if you've gone through the process of finding out that you're BRCA positive, that's a lot of the work that Sharsheret does, please just send me a quick note. We're looking for some people who might be willing to share their story that night. So that's February 9th at 7 p.m. And you can RSVP, tbh.org/sisterhood. Rabbi Albin is starting, each of us teach like a 3-class series during the year on our theme. If you recall, Rabbi Aaron ended up switching and it was about Israel, but this one is 3 weeks on kindness, text study and practice for this time of compassion fatigue. And that starts February 6th. So it's 3 Tuesday nights in a row. And also you can RSVP. I think that will be in person and online. So please join us for that. And Rabbi Albin, because she has compassion fatigue, no, she has to get outdoors a little. So everybody should join. Actually, this Sunday is the first one at 10 a.m. at Franklin Canyon. It's really beautiful. All of these different events. Are you going? Oh, good. Rebecca and Marlene are going, so you should go. tbh.org/outdoors group. You can visit our website, tbh.org, to find out anything. You can sign up for Highlights, which is our weekly newsletter. Highlights is our weekly newsletter. Thank you. And just be a part of this. Some of these are hikes. Some of them are just beach experiences. They're just getting us out of the indoors, although it's kind of cold right now. Is that it, Spencer? Whoa. All right, we got it again. That's it. Also, if you have a birthday the month of January, we will be celebrating them on the 4th Friday like we normally do. I think it's actually December and January birthdays. Join us at Shabbat Shira on January 26th. Is that it? Moved to Tree People. Did it move to Tree People? Oh, I'm sorry. Thank you. Thank you, Sandra Ehrenberg wrote on YouTube. It was moved to Tree People. I didn't know that. So there you go. It's not at Franklin Canyon. Should I see if anybody else has notes for me on Facebook? I mean, that's what this is for. It's in the email? Okay, great. All right. Well, that being said, let us put our arms around each other and close the service with a song of peace. Say shalom. If you want to come up and sing with me again, this is one that you guys know. Please rise. Put your arms around each other. If you have any questions or complaints, please talk to President Kara Corwin in the back row. She's the tallest one in the back row. I'm joking. There's no complaints. Okay. And of course, thank you to Basha for the beautiful duet, and Esty, who's also really working up her courage and singing with us. We got to get another mic. You want to give one of your mics? I know. All right. Ready? Say shalom. Here we go. Say shalom bimrama. Huya say shalom aleinu. Say shalom bimrama. Huya say shalom aleinu. Say shalom bimrama. Huya say shalom aleinu. Ya say shalom. Ya say shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya say shalom. Ya say shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya say shalom. Ya say shalom. Ya say shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol Yisrael. Ya say shalom. Ya say shalom. Shalom aleinu ve'al kol ha'olam. Shabbat shalom.
Shabbat
You
shalom.
want to do the challah blessing with me? Baruch atah.
Baruch
Actually,
Adonai.
we have wine back there? We can never get this
I
right.
don't drink
Challah.
wine.
Baruch I don't. It could be for juice. Baruch atah Adonai Eloheinu melech haolam hamotzi lechem min haaretz b'tei avon. Join us in the back for a little challah. Shabbat shalom.